One of the things I love about travel is getting to fly to new destinations, but also for me as an aviation enthusiast, I like discovering new airlines. And in this time at home where we're not allowed to travel, I'm actually taking advantage of this to actually learn about how to fly different airlines from different places. I'm Matt, and today I'm going to talk about the top 10 airlines I want to try in business class and how you guys can do it for really cheap. Hey guys, Matt for the future. Just a quick disclaimer, this video is not meant to encourage anyone to travel because we should all be at home safe and sound. This is just more of me fantasizing about which airlines I want to try fly once we're out of this situation, and maybe give you guys some ideas on how you can use your miles and points. So without further ado, let's get back into it. Number 10 is actually Emirates, which might surprise you to believe that I've actually never flown Emirates as much as everyone raves about them. I mean, you all probably heard about their fancy bar, the seats, the service, you name it, they've got it. But yeah, I've actually never flown Emirates before. The one thing I would like to do with Emirates actually is actually not fly to Dubai, because I would love to fly their special Fifth Freedom route, which is a route they have from Milan in Italy to New York's JFK F Kennedy. So that can be done with miles. You could do it for cash, but miles, we like miles and points, don't we? You could actually redeem for Emirates using various different programs, such as Japan Airlines Mileage Bank, Emirates' own Skywards program, or one of my trusty old favorites, Alaska Airlines miles. For example, from Milan to New York's JFK, you can redeem 105 Alaska Airlines miles and just £47 in tax and fees, which is pretty good, I think, for considering the ticket going up into the tens of thousands of pounds. So that's a good option. And to get there from the UK, just hop on a budget airline down to Milan, and then you can just hop over across to New York and enjoy Emirates at the same time. Number 9 is Singapore Airlines. Singapore is one of my favorite carriers. I've flown them before actually in premium economy, but I've yet to try their business class cabin. And it's supposed to be really, really nice. Some of the best products they have is on the A350, on the 787-10, and also, of course, the big old whale, the A380. So one of the best options for redeeming, well, actually the only option you have is Singapore Airlines' own program, KrisFlyer. And if you want to go use that, you can transfer them from Amex membership rewards points, so from your Amex Platinum, your Gold, and so on, to KrisFlyer. And then if you redeem 97,000 KrisFlyer miles, you can actually go from Denpasar, Bali, from Bali up to London Heathrow via Singapore, and you pay probably like £19 in tax and fees. So pretty good, I think. But yeah, Singapore Airlines definitely on the list. And also, I know this video is about business class, but I really want to try Sweets. Sweets is so nice. If you've seen pictures of it, oh, so good. Number 8, and that actually is quite an unusual one, because I actually have a bit of disdain for this airline for quite a while, but it's starting to win me over, and that is United Airlines Polaris business class. And that's actually because it's kind of a unique one, because United, for the longest time, I've always just dissed them and said, nah, they're not worth it. And obviously they've never had the best reputation, but I feel that they might be turning a new leaf, because Polaris looks like a really good cabin. I mean, you got some seats go straight and some of them slightly angled, so everyone has their own privacy and their own ways, and everyone has direct aisle access. So there's various ways you can book United Polaris, and you want to do it through a member of Star Alliance, so you can use Singapore Airlines KrisFlyer miles. With your Amex points, you can actually just buy Avianca Life miles, and they're often sold at 2-for-1 sales, so you could just buy the miles outright, and then you never have to earn them. Also, you could also just use United Airlines' own Mileage Plus miles. So for example, that you could do is Newark, New Jersey, New York to London Heathrow for 60,000 United miles and about $5.60, but be warned that United has a dynamic pricing scheme, so you have to check the price fluctuates depending on the demand, so double check your prices when you search. But United Polaris is a solid option, I think, and I would like to try that sometime. Number 7 is actually Aer Lingus, an airline I know all too well. It's one of my favorite airways to fly in economy, but I've yet to try their business class, and they have a seat that's quite similar to another airline called JetBlue, and they have what's called the throne seat. Aer Lingus, when you redeem through British Airways Avios, which is obviously earnable through American Express membership rewards, through Tesco Club Card, through flying with BA and their partners, and all sorts of different ways to earn your Avios. So if you wanted to fly, say, Dublin to the east coast of the US, so that could be Boston, New York, Chicago, and you'd only have to redeem 50,000 Avios off-peak, because British Airways has peak and off-peak dates with Aer Lingus, and you're probably paying about 60, 70 quid taxes, which is much better than British Airways themselves, because if you want to fly London to New York with BA, you're talking at least £400-500. Aer Lingus is a really good bargain way to get across the Atlantic without having to pay for the huge fees that BA charges. Number 6 is Delta's product, which is called Delta One Suites, and this is a really special product because this came out like a year or two ago, I think. But the reason why it's fun is because it actually has a sliding door on it, so it's like a fully enclosed suite. That's available on several of their aircraft. I think it's on their A350s, their newest ones. They've also retrofitted some of their 777s as well, so you can try them at that, and also their A330neos, which are in more of the west coast. For example, you can fly Detroit in Michigan to Amsterdam on their A350, and that would cost you 50,000 Virgin Atlantic miles plus $5.60, so £4.50 tax. So pretty unbeatable. Otherwise, if you want to go to Asia, you can go from the US to say Atlanta to Tokyo. That will cost you about 60,000 Virgin Atlantic miles and $5.60, again £4.50 give or take, and that gets you all the way, like 14 hours or so over to Asia. Now the reason why you want to use Virgin miles is, one, they're a lot easier to earn in the UK than say Delta Sky miles. You can transfer them from Amex, you can earn from Morrison's or Waitrose in store, you can earn them through Tesco Club Card. I mean, the list goes on, and also because Delta on their own program, Sky Miles, they charge huge fees, a huge mileage costs. I mean, so like for example, whereas Virgin would charge 50,000 for Detroit to Amsterdam just to go across the Atlantic, Delta would charge something like 500,000 Sky Miles sometimes, and it just blows my mind sometimes how they think they can get away with that. Next on the list is actually Iberia, which is a quite quirky one because I've never really given much thought, but there's actually a few reasons why. First of all, Iberia has a few destinations I've been eyeing up which I want to go to. For example, Puerto Rico. My buddy John, who recently went and I'll leave his link up below, and it looked like a really nice destination. I really love to go, but there's not many airlines that go from Europe to Puerto Rico directly without going through the United States. So Iberia offers their business class, and they have their own program, Iberia Plus, which actually, fun fact, you can actually combine your BA Avios over to your Iberia Avios if your Iberia account has been open for over 90 days and you've had some activity in it. Iberia charges far less tax and fees than British Airways does. So for example, if you want to go from Madrid to the east coast of the US, say Chicago, New York, Boston, so on, or even places like San Juan, Puerto Rico, which I want to go to, you could fly on Iberia in business class for 34,000 Avios, wow, and about 100 quid in taxes, which is like 3 times less than what BA would charge for the same routes. Next option is actually one of the cheapest business class awards I've ever come across, and I'm still surprised it still exists, and that's actually Czech Airlines. And you probably never even heard of them probably. They're actually a SkyTeam airline that they have one long-haul route. They actually only have one long-haul plane, which is a Korean leased A330, and they use that to go between Prague and Seoul. The reason why that's significant is because they have a partnership with Etihad Guest. If you want to go on BA from London to Seoul, you'll be talking about 90,000 Avios or so, and probably like hundreds of pounds in taxes. If you want to use Etihad Guest to fly Prague to Seoul with Czech, you're only paying 25,610 miles for business class. What? I mean, yeah, this is one of the most brilliant deals in the whole miles and points game, and hardly anyone knows about it, even takes advantage of it, and it's just mind-blowing it still exists to this day. So the tax and fees are about, I think about, if I remember, it was like 180 euros when I last checked, but definitely check because you have to call Etihad to book it, but you can search the award space on Delta, on Air France, and all the SkyTeam partner programs to find the award space, and then just call Etihad to book it. And trust me, when you're sitting up in business class for like just over 52,000 return, you'll be just laughing at the end of it. So definitely want to give Czech a chance. Next on the list is Virgin Atlantic. Now, Virgin Atlantic, I have only recently started flying because I flew last year when I went to Portland with my friend Ben, and they were really good. They were really nice. And actually, from that trip, I actually managed to rack up a bunch of Virgin Atlantic miles using their miles booster program. So I've been looking at ways to earn them, or in this case, burn them, I should say. So one of the ways you can use them is obviously on their own brand new upper class suites, which is on their A350 1000, and it looks really, really nice. A lot better than their old product, because their old product's not nice from what I saw when I was on the plane. So the only downside of Virgin is if you want to use it for their own flights, they charge huge fees. From London to Los Angeles, you'd be talking about 67,500 miles and about £445 in taxes, which is quite a lot. But if you really are a fan of Virgin and you want to try their newest suites, definitely go for that. But try and find seats on the new A350, because that's the one that has the new upper class suites. Next one is actually a quirky one, not because the product's good, but because the deal I found was quite surprising. And that's actually American Airlines. Never thought I'd be saying that, but I just thought I'd throw this in just for fun. The reason why is because if you wanted to redeem this with American zone miles, you'd be probably looking at about 105,000 AA miles, which are a nightmare to earn in the UK. But otherwise, what you could do is use our good old friend Etihad Guest again, because Etihad has an individual partnership with AA, and they've actually kept American's old chart from way back when, from 2016, which American's long since ditched, which means that you can get some really good sweet spots. So if you wanted to go from North America to Europe, let's say you want to go from, let's say, San Francisco to Manchester, to London, sorry, you could fly on AA, and it doesn't matter how many connections you have to make, it's the same price. You could go from, between those 2 points for 50,000 Etihad miles, which is, you know, less than half than what Americans are charging for the same route. And I think the taxes are pretty reasonable, like 20, 30 quid. So yeah, I'd definitely do that. And actually, one little tidbit, Etihad Guest on their American chart, if you look closely, you'll see it's marked B and F, where the 50,000 is. The reason why there's B and F, because they actually consider, they treat business and first class on American the same. So for 50,000, you could actually fly Los Angeles to London in first class on AA, which is mind-blowingly good. So I definitely try and see if you can try and sneak yourself into first class, because that's, I mean, for 50,000, who can go wrong with that? And last but not least, the number one airline I want to try in business class is ANA, which is All Nippon Airways from Japan. And what can I say more than ANA is supposed to be one of the most absolutely best airlines from what I've seen online. And they just recently upgraded their business class last year to a new product called The Room, and it's supposed to be like a meter wide seat. I'm not kidding you. Yeah, it's supposed to be absolutely gigantic. So there are plenty of ways to redeem for ANA. So you can use any of the Star Alliance carriers programs, like you said before, United, Life Miles, Avianca, Air Canada, Aeroplan, and plenty of those. But the main best ones I want to recommend to you are actually two individual partners that are outside the alliances, which are Virgin Atlantic, which you might not realize they have. Yes, you can redeem your Virgin Atlantic miles on ANA, and Etihad Guest, and they both have their own merits. So if you want to use your Virgin Atlantic miles, you're only allowed to use them on round trip tickets, so return tickets only. You can't use them on one ways, unfortunately. But that means, but the upside of that is that you get amazing value out of it from Europe. So London or Frankfurt is where the two destinations that currently have The Room, to Japan, to Tokyo, and then you can come back. All that for 95,000 Virgin miles, which, to give you context, most of the other carriers charge that much for one way, which I can't believe is still the case. Yeah, and the taxes of these are a bit higher if you go from London, so probably best to go from Frankfurt. The other option, if you want to go just on a one-way ticket with ANA, is to use Etihad Guest. They have a distance-based chart with ANA, and if you want to go from, say, Tokyo Haneda to London Heathrow, you'll be looking at about 63,000 Etihad miles. I'm not sure about the taxes, because right now it's not the time to ask airline agents. They've got enough on their plates. But when it's a bit all over, definitely go inquire with Etihad and see how much you can get. Because it shouldn't be too much, I think, as far as I remember. But yeah, you can either use the Star Alliance carriers, Etihad Guest for one ways, or for the best bang for your pound, use Virgin Atlantic miles. And there you have it, guys. That's 10 airlines I want to try in business class. Let me know in the comments, what were you guys, which ones do you want to try? No, I left out a few that I've already tried in the past. So like Cathay Pacific and Qatar with Q Suites, I've already been on them and I love them and I'd love to try them again. But this was strictly new airlines I haven't tried yet, or at least their business classes I haven't tried. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because I see a lot of you aren't subscribed to the channel, and we're getting close to 800. So if you guys hit that red button and then hit the notification bell, that would really help me out. And yeah, as always, love you guys. You're awesome. Stay safe, stay at home, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.